Good morning, friends. I am Dr. Kolasandra Deuri. I am a master in veterinary reproduction, gynecology, and obstetrics. Today, the topic of discussion is role of different hormones in female reproduction. I will especially deal with those hormones that is exclusively being used in the female reproduction. So, before going to the main topic, I will first discuss what is the hypothalamus, what is the pituitary, and what is the gonad. As you know, the hypothalamus is the master of endocrine organ, from where the signal passes to the pituitary gland, and from the pituitary gland, different hormones excreted, and that hormones via a specific bloodstream goes to the gonad and exerts their specific actions. So the total hypothalamus, pituitary, and the gonad, they act in a synchronous way, and that constitute the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, and it is most frequently known as HPG axis in case of females. As we know, the hypothalamus has some signal making neurons that causes and that triggers the release of certain hormones. Okay, let's discuss what is the neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus. The hypothalamus secretes some of the hormones that is being stored in the posterior hypothalamus, and the anterior hypothalamus also receives some signals from the anterior pituitary, from the hypothalamus, to secrete certain hormones. So when we broadly defines, or when we broadly see the hormones of the pituitary gland, we classified it as two sides. One is anterior pituitary and other is the posterior pituitary. So the anterior pituitary hormone side secretes six hormones, that is thyroxine, thyroxine stimulating hormone that secretes thyroid hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone that is act on adrenal cortex, FSH and LH follicle stimulating hormone, as well as luteinizing hormone that acts on testis, growth hormone or popular GH that act on entire body for the purpose of growth, and another is prolactin that acts specifically on mammary gland in case of mammals, and another is your endorphin hormone that is a brain receptor in case of brain. So these six hormones are secreted from the anterior pituitary, and they act on specific gland. But the posterior hypothalamus secretes some of the enzymes, sorry, some of the hormones. So these are generally stored in posterior pituitary. So from the posterior pituitary, they circulate to the body through the blood vessel. So very important, these two hormone is, another is oxytocin, another ADH, anti diuretic hormone. As we know, the oxytocin is a milk ejecting hormone in case of females, and the ADH hormone, anti diuretic hormone, act on loop of Henle in case of renal tubules, and that maintains the osmotic regulations in case of mammals. So as we discuss, only the role of female, the hormones pertaining to the female reproduction. First, the hormone is the FSH, that is the follicle stimulating hormone. So as the hormone, the name of the hormone suggests that it stimulates something, means it stimulates the follicle development. What is the follicle development? So when on the ovary, there are numerous follicles are there, means a rounded like structure, that follicles under the influence of the your FSH, that develops, all the follicles developed, but all the follicles do not mature. Only one follicle get matured, and that is a big sepid, and that big sepid follicle is known as Graafian follicle, GF, and that Graafian follicle finally ruptures. From that rupturing of the Graafian follicle, the ova is excreted out. So this FSH hormone is for growth and maturation of the follicles, and estrogen production from the Sertoli cells. So when the follicles develop, when you go to the minute structure of that follicle, this is the follicle, this has some inside the oocytes, and there is some inner line cell, outer line cells, and there is this in detail. When you go to the embryology chapter, we find there is a layer of the cell, that is theca in external cells and the theca internal cells. All the theca interna and the theca external cells, these cells get proliferated only when the follicles number or the follicle size get proliferated. So from the theca interna and the theca interna cells, the estrogen productions goes off. Coming to the second hormone, that is LH, luteinizing hormone. So when the mature follicle, that is known as Graafian follicles, they attain a mature stage for rupture. At that time, the luteinizing hormone acts, and from the acting of the luteinizing hormone, there is a specific rupture from the follicle, and that rupture of the follicle causes the oozing out of your oocyte. Remember, students, the oocyte inside the ovum is released to the outside through a process of oozing out. It is not a discharge process, but it's a oozing process. Very, very important. So this hormone is known as ICSH. Final maturation of the Graafian follicle, it causes ovulation. The oozing out of your oocyte from the Graafian follicle is known as ovulation. Formation and maintenance of the CL. Let's see what is the CL. Means what is the corpus luteum. So this is the Graafian follicle, and the ovum has been released, and when the ovum has been released, the surface of the Graafian follicle get ruptured. As we know, there are numerous minute small vessels, the wrapping the uh, the degraded surface, they make a clot here. The blood vessels, those are, they made a clot here, and that clot from the ruptured site is known as corpus luteum. Very, very important. This corpus luteum secretes the hormone progesterone. In next slide, we will discuss in brief. Next coming to the hormone prolactin, very, very important hormone. When the mammogenesis or the milk secretion is a matter of concern, this hormone is known as lactotrophs or mammotrophs. If we break the word lacto or mammotrophs, trophs means growth, means mammotrophs means your growth of your mammary gland, and lactotrophs or lacteal glands. So this hormone is also known as lactotrophs as well as mammotrophs. The action is similar to the growth hormone. So as they stimulate the mammary cells or the for their growth, so this action is quite similar to the action of your growth hormone. So it is leucotropic in nature. Metamorphosis in case of frog, crop milk production in pigeon, brooding and maternal behavior in birds. So these hormones, so these additional functions like metamorphosis in pig, means there is a gradual growth or gradual change in the body size, and crop milk production in case of pigeon, the brooding behavior, the brooding maternal behavior in case of birds. Do you know what is the love hormone Okay, in next slide I will go to the what is the difference. So the affection of a hen to the chick is nothing over is nothing due to the influence of a prolactin. Do you mark when a your hen is going forward and there is a group of chick is following her, and this is nothing but a maternal instinct between the dam and her offspring. So this is nothing but the action due to your hormone prolactin. Coming to the next hormone, that is your oxytocin. It is a very important hormone. This hormone is also the love hormone. So why this love hormone? A mother loves his child. Okay, why why this bonding is there? Because due to the effect of your oxytocin. So coming to the different roles of oxytocin, first, it is helpful in letting down of the milk from milk ejection. It is used in myoepithelial construct. During the birth of a child, the oxytocin receptors at the endometrium get activated, and oxytocin hormone directly acts there, and this causes the contraction of the your myoepithelial cells and causes the easy birth. In case of dog, when we are when in dog we know there is a multiple birth. When there is a case of dystocia, we the veterinarian generally give the oxytocin injection. Generally it is around 10 IU in normal saline we are giving for easy parturition process. It is used in stump bleeding, means when there is bleeding inside the uterus or inside the reproductive organs, then at that time we can also give it as a hemostat, means to check the blood flow. It has additive effect on prostaglandin as well as the estrogen. Okay, it has been used extensively in abortion in case of mare. Mare means female horse. It, as I have told, it causes a contraction in the myoepithelial cells, so it induces labor in multiparous animals like bitches, like cats, etc., and in case of pig also. So contraction of the reproductive tract, as you have told, and it is used in ROP, means ROP means retention of placenta. Why the retention of placenta is there? Because there is a bacterial invasion due to lack of insufficient or oxytocin. If you give the oxytocin, then the remnants of your placenta get expelled out from the birth passage very easily. Next, coming to the hormone estrogen, very important hormone. So it has, what is the effect? It has some anabolic effect. So anabolic effect means it constitute a positive energy, nothing else. So this causes maximum uses of TDN, total digestive nutrient. So it is a epitheliotropic hormone. So for example, I am giving you an example. When uh, so when a girl child get married, and if she possesses a child, and then you will find then there is some what there is some brightness, or there is some what charmness found inner health. So this is nothing but the epitheliotropic hormone. So epithelial cells get proliferated to a larger number. It causes ossification, means there is formation of the new ones, increased skin, mitotic. It also known as mitotic hormone. So it helps in cell division. Positive effect of LH. So when there is LH, so when there is estrogen hormone rises, then there is secretion of LH. How this relation established? First of all, so when there is a follicle is there, inside the follicle there is a oocyte is there. There is theca antenna, external cell is there. As you know, these both hormone, these both layers, especially theca antenna cells, secretes the estrogen hormone. This exaggerated level of estrogen causes release of LH. So estrogen level triggers the more release of LH hormone for luteinizing that Graafian follicle. So it has positive effect on LH, increased sexual receptivity, very important, expression of estrous behavior. Due to this estrogen, a animal come to the estrus and shows some signs of estrous behavior. It causes relaxation of the cervix and dilates of the skin, and it causes the parturitions, and that is known as Ferguson reflex. It is a very complex phenomenon. I will deal it the phenomena with in a later slides. Secondary sexual characters in case of females, like the growth of your hair in at the perineal regions, development of your breast, and it also causes the local immunity. Cause it is very important one, because when the animal is in stress condition and we are going for the artificial insemination, you mark the animal is totally present in unhygienic conditions and we are going for the artificial insemination. Do you, there is every chances of getting infections, because at the time of the stress the cervix is totally open and the entry of the pathological organisms might be there, but due to the high level of estrogen at the time of stress, it causes a very good very large amount of local immunity at that time. That's why under the unhygienic condition the cow get the proper fertilization capacity. Finally, what is the clinical absence of this estrogen hormone? So this has been used in termination of pregnancy in case of certain animals, like in beaches. Dropsical condition of the fetus, that is dropsical condition nothing but the, if you are a veterinary student then you might know the hydro allantois and the hydroamnion. Both are the complicated structures, and for that purposes we are giving the estrogen hormone, and the mismatching in case of dogs. So coming to the next hormone, the progesterone. So this is the pregnancy hormone. As I have told from the as I have told from the corpus luteum, this is the ruptured side. This is the corpus luteum formation. From here, this is corpus luteum. This is the progesterone hormone secretion. This is the site, only the site. So this progesterone hormone prepare the endometrium for the implantation. The oocyte oozes out. The sperm is there, their fertilization is there, and that comes to the uterus, and from the uterine wall it is attached. So this hormone prepares the endometrium for the implantation. Histotrope is nothing a liquid like structure that trough means that nourishes the your oocyte. Development of secretory tissue, alveoli and mammary glands. So in lactogenesis process, that helps in secretion, the synthesis of secretory tissue, the alveoli and the mammary glands. So coordinating the estrous cycle. So in estrous cycle there are two phases, and one is follicular phase, another is luteal phase. In follicular stage constitute your proestrus, estrus. In luteal phase, there is uh, metaestrus and diestrus. So this luteal phase is under the control of your progesterone hormone. This follicular phase is under the control of your estrogen hormone. After the estrogen hormone, there is progesterone. And after the progesterone withdrawal, there is estrogen. So this progesterone is coordinates the estrous cycle. So next coming to the, what is the clinical aspect of the estrogen. So estrogen is induction of the estrus, because by using the PRID, CIDR and IVS, progesterone releasing intravaginal devices, control internal drug releasing devices, and the IVS, that is I think it is a intravulvovaginal services. There is a concept, that is rebound effect of progesterone. So what is the rebound effect of progesterone? if there is an animal and it is not coming to the heat from a long period of time, so what happens at the time we just assume that there is a high level of progesterone, and due to the effect of progesterone, the there is non-priming of the estrogen to a point where the animal can show or exhibit an estrous sign. So at that time what happens, if we go for the progesterone therapy from the outsource, then the animal may come to the heat, because if you administer progesterone to the animal for a long period of time in a very slow and sustained manner, means like slow amount we are daily injecting, and one day we just remove the progesterone supplement from the outside, and if we when we just withdraw the progesterone supplement, then subsequently the animal shows the heat. So this is the rebound effect of progesterone, means withdrawal of the progesterone after giving for a continuous period of time, the animal shows the stress behavior. So this is the concept that is being used, that is being uh, present in the PRID, CID, and the IVS, and the progestagens in the chronic ovarian disease cases. So prevention of estrus in bitches, also we can give the progesterone hormone, and the luteal deficiency. In certain cases there is finding of the repeat breeding cases, means there is if there are many causes of repeat breeding. One of the causes is the low production of progesterone. This low production of progesterone causes expel out of your zygote. At that time we are giving the outsourcing or the progesterone for the outsource, and for that is nothing but the luteal deficiency. Coming to the next hormone, this is the master hormone prostaglandin. In earlier slide or earlier video I have made a very comprehensive analysis of your prostaglandins. So this prostaglandin has various functions. First of all, this prostaglandin is also helpful for your cell formation. So first of all, what do you know by the prostaglandin? So prostaglandin is an anti-progesterone hormone. So the lower amount of your prostaglandin, the lower dose of your prostaglandin causes corpus luteum formation. This causes release of the oxytocin. This causes also ovulation, and as this is anti-progesterone hormone, so obviously this prostaglandin, this for short form is the PG, this acts on corpus luteum, and that corpus luteum which secretes the progesterone stops secretes. So it has anti-progesterone effect. So when there is a fetus inside the mother and it is being developed or it is being maintained due to the effect of your progesterone, we just do not want this child. What the, and you call for a veterinary doctor. What he gives, he just after getting the consent of the owner, he just give the prostaglandin hormone. It's a very dangerous hormone. So after that, it will act on the corpus luteum, and that corpus luteum stops the secretion of progesterone, and due to the lack of progesterone, the fetus expelled out, and there is finally the abortion is there. So clinical application of your prostaglandin. So the persistent corpus luteum in case of animals, if there is a persistent corpus luteum and the ovulation is not there, means there is a case of anestrus. At that time we are giving the prostaglandins. Second, the mummifications, means the total it's a paper like structure of the fetus, and this is also a dropsical conditions, and at that time we are giving the prostaglandins for the expulsion of your this mummified fetus. First, in the estrous synchronization, there is also using we are giving prostaglandin prostaglandin along with Gynecology, GPG protocol, co-sync protocol, all this. So it is being extensively used in the estrous synchronization. It is used in endometritis. So now you will put me a question: why in endometritis the prostaglandin is being used? We know in endometritis there is proliferation of the bacteria or invasive bacteria in the endometrium. So we know if there is a very we know the prostaglandin causes vasoconstriction, and vasoconstriction means there is increased blood flow to that area. When we inject the prostaglandin, there is increased blood flow, and due to the increased blood flow, the causative organisms for the endometritis, they can't localize or they can't proliferate very easily in the running blood. That's why the lower the subluteal dose of the prostaglandin also helpful to treat the endometritis cases. So this is also used in uterine immunity, also used in pyometra, because for the expulsion of the fetus, the retention of the fetal membrane, RFM. Also, this prostaglandin is used. AI improvement. After AI, if you give the subluteal dose of the prostaglandin, then there is a chances of better conception, and there is a chance of MTP, that is maternal medical termination of the pregnancy. As I have told you, it is anti progesterone hormone, and that has been used extensively in veterinary cases to deal the abortion cases. Generally, prostaglandin plus dexamethasone is the drug of choice. So, before going to terminate a pregnancy, please call your veterinarian. Please call a registered veterinarian to deal the cases very carefully. So hope you have enjoyed my video regarding the different role of different hormones in female reproduction. If you have any doubts and queries, please give your valuable suggestion, any comments below my comment box. So thank you.